Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel once again. So today, as you can read by the title below, I'm going to be talking all about the signs of a healing helix piercing and a tragus. As you know, these are my two most recent ear piercings from about 6 months ago now. So I've had them for 6 months and I've been going through the experience with them, and a lot of you have been asking me, like, how do I know when they're healed? Like, what is the healing process like? Just things like that. So this video is really highly requested, so I figured I would go ahead and make a video like this because the helix piercing is probably the most popular ear piercing and it's the most stubborn. So we're gonna start with the helix first and then move on to the tragus piercing. So to start off, a helix piercing, or otherwise known as cartilage piercing, is in the upper part of your ear where the cartilage is most tough. That is known as a helix and or cartilage piercing, whatever you like to call it, really doesn't matter. You can go to your piercer and they will say, you can say helix or cartilage and they will know what you're talking about. But typically, it's known as a helix. So, helix piercings, which as you can see, mine is right here. They typically take 9 to 12 months to heal. Not a whole lot of people know that, and this piercing is a very slow healer, and it really does take 9 to 12 months to heal. A lot of piercers will tell you don't change it until it's healed. That's what I was told. That's what my experience has been so far. So I do still have the original ring in that I was pierced with, so I haven't changed it. I have about another 4 or 5 months to go before I will even decide to change it. So yes, they do take 9 to 12 months to heal. I did make a video on how I clean both of my most recent ear piercings, which I will go ahead and link below. And if you want to know anything else about any of my other piercings, if you're new and just kind of stopping by, I will have a link to my entire piercings playlist if you want to go check that out as well in case you are interested. All of that will be down in the description box so you can go and check that out. So the signs of a healing helix piercing, they're all pretty standard. Everyone of course is going to be different. They're all going to experience different things. Like for instance, someone may bleed more days than I did. Someone may, swell up way more than I did. So, everyone's really different, but the healing signs are pretty standard when it comes to helix piercings and pretty much all piercings in all ear piercings in general. It's just like the standard things to expect. And yes, all the piercings do run the risk of getting infected. I did do a video talking all about infected piercings, which I will also link down below, because a lot of people, and I always deal with this, a lot of people mistake the healing signs for infection signs, when really that's not the case. The piercing is just healing and it's not infected, but people just assume it's infected. So yeah, just don't mistake it for infection. Some signs of a healing helix or tragus piercing are some bleeding for the first few days, a little bit of pain or soreness, some pus, some crusting, some swelling. It may be really red for a few days. I know my ear was very red when I first got these piercings, and it stayed red for about, I think it was like 2 days when my ear, when the redness in my ear finally went away. Some more signs of a healing, helix or tragus piercing are some like throbbing, like a heartbeat kind of throbbing feeling, or cysts. So what I mean by throbbing is just kind of like where the piercing is just really swollen and warm, and it's just like, it feels like it's pulsating. 2 times since getting this pierced, it's happened twice so far, I did have like a weird throbbing pain. Like it was just having a flare up, and it was just like it just felt like it had like a heartbeat. It was the weirdest thing. It got really hot, and it like throbbed for like 10 minutes. It was just so weird to me, and I did it for about 10 minutes. No, it wasn't infected. There was no pus involved. It was just really swollen, red, and throbbing. So, you do kind of have to expect the unexpected when you get a helix piercing, because that does happen, and it's happened twice. It hasn't happened since. It was more or less like in the beginning of when I got it pierced. Really not a big deal. It's just kind of what you have to expect with things like that. The other thing I mentioned was cysts. And what I mean by cysts is no, I do not mean keloids. Keloids are a totally different thing from cysts. Keloids do happen with cartilage piercings, especially with the tragus and the helix. A lot of people come to me and they always ask me like what their little bump is, and it's more than likely a keloid. But I'm not talking about keloids in this situation, I'm talking about cysts. And when I got both of these ear piercings about 6 months ago, I realized that I had two little bumps inside my ear. I had one up here and then I had one back here, like right behind my ear where my tragus was. Pretty much what cysts are is they are sometimes things that happen when you get a new piercing. Really not a big deal, but it's pretty much just a growth of fluid behind the ear or the piercing. It sometimes happens when you get a new piercing, your body doesn't know how to react, so it just kind of makes a little pocket of fluid. In my case, the cysts that I had were not dangerous. They're sometimes very common with ear piercings, especially with me. Every single time I've ever had my helix pierced, because this is my 4th time having it, every single time I've had it pierced, I've always gotten a little cyst. And the ones that I had were just the follicular cysts, so it's really not a big deal. It does happen. Don't really know why it happens, but you know, if you do feel kind of like a little tiny bump behind your ear or anything like that, don't worry too much about it. What I did and what really helped is I would do hot sea salt soaks. I would just make a sea salt solution, dip a Q-tip or sometimes even a cotton ball in it, make the water really hot, and then just kind of lay it on the cyst, and it would go down in size just to kind of help the fluid, you know, get out of the little pocket that it's in. Yeah, really easy to do. It did eventually go away in about 2 weeks, so I really wasn't worried about it too much. One thing though is do not play with it, pop it, anything like that, because you don't want to infect it. Because if you were to pop it, that fluid, you know, you just don't want to get bacteria and all the other junk in there. So yes, if you do happen to have a cyst, just leave it alone. You know, do the sea salt soaks. If it doesn't go away within a month's time, I would go see your piercer or even a doctor if it starts to get really big, just to be safe, just so you know you know that it's gonna be okay and it's not like a dangerous one. But you know, just really keep an eye on it. You know, when you get a new piercing, that's really when it comes time to watch it and to make sure that everything is going smoothly. So you just really got to pay close attention and give it a lot of TLC if needed. All the signs that I mentioned for a healing helix piercing, sometimes they can last from day 1 all the way up to 12 months. Sometimes they can last up to 6 months, 9 months. It really all depends on how you take care of it and just your body in general and how your body heals well with piercings. For instance, I'm a very slow healer, so my helix is still healing. It's only been 6 months. It's not fully healed yet. Like I said, I do have about another 6 months, 5 or 6 months to go before I will change it personally. You know, a lot of people come to me and say, you know, I've had my helix piercing for 6 months and it's still pussing. What do I do? It's really not a big deal because it does take 9 to 12 months to heal. So, you know, don't be too concerned about it. I mean, if it's infected and it's just like, it's just not looking good, then, you know, maybe you do have an infection. But I mean, if you're just having like a little bit of pus or crusting, like me, I still get a little bit of crusting sometimes when I wake up in the morning, but you know, really not a big deal. Another thing I want you to keep in mind about the helix piercing is just always keep in mind and always remember that they will always have little flare-ups. If you have a helix piercing already, you know what I'm talking about and you've had it for a long time. There will be days where it will just decide to have a bad day and just flare up on you. Don't let that concern you. It's more than likely not infected. Sometimes if I can sleep on mine right now. Like this doesn't hurt me at all. But some days I will have, you know, nights where it will just flare up and just be so god-awful to sleep on at night. So just always remember that they will always have little flare-ups. Okay, so moving on, once a helix piercing is fully healed, you will experience no pain when you touch it, no pain when you change it. There should be no blood, there should be no pus, no crusting. I mean, you will still experience flare-ups every once in a great while. Really not a big deal. Quite common with them, but you know, just kind of use common sense. Like, I mean, if you're seeing pus and blood and all the other stuff, it's probably not healed yet. So if you're just if you have like, you know, none of those symptoms, then you should be fine. But you know, just when you change it and you get a flare up, it's fine, it happens. But just keep those things in mind. So now moving on to the tragus piercing. For those of you who don't know what a tragus piercing is, it is this little part on the ear right here. And this is what mine looks like. I've had it pierced for 6 months because I got it the exact same time that I got this one. So that's what that one looks like at 6 months. So pretty much some signs of a tragus piercing pretty go hand in hand with Helix. So there'll be some redness, some dryness, crusting, pus, pain, cysts. Like I said, I got a cyst literally like right behind my ear right here. I had a pretty big one there. Keloids. Keloids will always happen with cartilage piercings, like nose, eyebrow, belly button, cartilage piercings. You know, keloids are just a very common thing and nothing to really concern yourself with. Just if you do get a keloid, just put some tea tree oil or sea salt on it. Sea salt, soak it every single night, and then tea tree oil 2 to 3 times a week, and you should be fine. Cysts, I already explained what to do with those. So pretty much all the signs of a tragus are, you know, just go hand in hand. But again, like I said, don't mistake the healing signs for an infection. You will know when your piercing is infected. If it's just a little bit red or it's secreting some white pus, that's not infection. When it's infected, it will look like it's like it just will not look good, and you will know right then and there that there is something wrong. So it's very easy to tell. I mean, some of the symptoms are similar, you know, like redness, that kind of goes hand in hand. Sometimes a little bit of warmth can be a sign of healing also, but it can also be a sign of infection. So, you know, just don't mistake those things together, so you will know a difference. And then once a tragus piercing is healed, tragus piercings take about 3 to 6 months to heal, kind of like a nose piercing. Mine healed absolutely beautifully, and there should be no more pain, no more redness, no more pus, crusting, swelling, anything like that. It shouldn't hurt to move it. You should be able to move it just fine, and you shouldn't feel anything when you're changing it. So that's pretty much what you need to remember when you have a tragus piercing. Everybody, so I hope this video was helpful for you. A lot of you were asking me, how do I know when my Helix is healed? How do I know when my tragus is healed? I need help, help me help. Well, here's the video, so I really hope it was helpful and I hope you enjoyed it. Another thing I wanted to cover before I head on out of here is no, you cannot quicken up the healing process any faster. A piercing is a piercing and your body is your body, so it will take as long as it needs. There is no special, you know, cure to help your piercing heal faster, because I mean, a lot of people came to me and they said, is there any way I can make the Helix piercing heal faster? Is there anything I can do? Unfortunately, no. You're just gonna have to wait it out. You get a piercing, guess what? You have time for it to heal. Don't just get a piercing and think you can just be changing it out like crazy all the time. It's not how it works. That's just not how a piercing works. So anyway, I hope I covered everything. If there's something I didn't cover that you want me to answer, go ahead and leave a comment below and I will get back to you as soon as possible. But until then, I will see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye!